Hello, Cancer. Elsie here to do a reading for you. How are you, my friends? I hope you are well. How are you doing through this Mercury retrograde in your sign? I hope you're good. I'm here to give you a little bit of energy. We are talking about what you might be reconsidering through this retrograde in your sign. Gosh, look, I have a hard time with words during retrograde. So thanks for being patient with me. But we're going to talk, what are you reconsidering? And it might be emotionally, it might be otherwise, but does whatever this is deserve a second chance? We'll talk about that. Tell me about Cancer. Happy birthday, friends. How has your Cancer season been? Let me know when your birthday is. I want to say happy birthday to you. Just wish you well. Thanks for sharing that. Let's find out what's going on with you. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. What might you be reconsidering? This is a long retrograde all the way in to about the 23rd or 24th of July. And then we have the post-shadow phase, so all the way into August. Let's find out what's going on for Cancer. We have the Eight of Cups. So you are in reconsideration about something that you're feeling as though it might be worth letting go of. Worth, as I said, worth, the 10 of Pentacles came out. It feels like something that you see long-term worth in. It might be emotional worth, I'm just going to say, because the Eight of Cups are here, but it doesn't feel, it feels like it has worth. It feels like it's worth spending your time on, your effort or your energy. But it also feels like it's temporary, I would say, that you realize that although it may fulfill you financially, may fulfill you in your long-term goals, may fulfill your health goals, it feels like it doesn't really fulfill your emotional goals. Tell me more. I've got that big full moon above that person's head there. And full moons are about releasing things, right? So I feel like it's almost like it's really abundant, but it feels like you're settling for this. It's not really matching you in your emotions. But look, you're like Mariana's Trench with your emotions. It's super deep, deep, deep. It's just some scary shit down there. Okay? All right. So we got the Knight of Swords. Okay. So it feels like you feel under pressure to make some sort of a decision or come up with some sort of words. It feels like something bearing down on you, I'm going to say. It's like you gotta make the decision now before the decision makes you. It feels like you want to be in charge of making the decision. I think that you see that this is something that could grow over time, but I don't know that it feels like you're just not very committed to the emotional part of whatever this is. We've got the Two of Cups in the reverse. So I'm going to say that right now you're in a position where you haven't necessarily bonded with the situation, with the job, with the person. It's like we haven't made a ruling yet. Court is out. You haven't really ruled on whether this is the thing for you or not, whether you want to really continue to deepen the bond that you have in this place. There's a lot of times too, like especially when you are somebody who is intuitive or runs on intuition, that it has to feel good to you. It has to feel good as well as it being, a job that pays really well. It has to be a good place where you are emotionally happy as well, or you're maybe just not all that interested. You may be in the initial part of it, but not necessarily for the long term. So I think that whatever we're talking about here, what you're looking for is very different than what I feel you're currently in the current energy. In the current energy, I feel like you have the long-term staying power. It also feels like, this does look like it has a potential to have long-term staying power, but if I do stay for the long term, is it going to be fun? Is this going to be something that is, am I going to bond to the people around me? Am I going to learn from this group of people who I'm, fairly happy going out with, having fun, being lighthearted with? Or is this something that, is going to require me to make a decision? It feels like out of emotions. And I think that with the Ten of Pentacles here, you don't want to do that. But it's a necessary and integral part of your decision-making process. We have the Eight of Pentacles here. It does feel like it could be about a job, but also the Eight of Pentacles could tell me that you have worked a long time independently on something that means a lot to you, that has a lot of material worth, or possibly you see the value in, you see the abundant value in. I feel like it could be education. I do often liken the Eight of Pentacles to education because Virgo is very smart and all about the details, becoming a subject matter expert. This person here is working on tapestry, which is you have to have a lot of patience to work on tapestry. So I feel as though you're trying to be patient to make a decision about a situation because you're not exactly sure if you're attached to it yet. It's like I'm kind of temporarily attached to it, but you haven't really been sold on the situation. And that's why the Two of Cups is in the reverse. It feels like I'm not completely sold that this is the place where this is the end game, that I'm going to be here forever. I'm not necessarily sold on that. And I think it's because you're probably someone who has a hard time making decisions. Look, Virgo has an eye for everything. This is Virgo energy. Virgo has an eye for everything, but Virgo has a really hard time making a decision unless they have all of the equations in place. So it feels to me like you're probably highly intelligent, or you're somebody who all the details matter to. You're somebody who's worked on something for a long time, maybe your abundance, and it feels like you see the worth in something, but not necessarily the emotional wealth of something. We've got the Knight of Pentacles here. So I think this is only part of the journey, I would say. I think that's what you're thinking. I think you're thinking this is only part of the journey. What if I'm only halfway through the journey and this isn't the pit stop I'm supposed to make for the rest of my life? But it feels like you feel you're running out of time to make the decision. Maybe a group is telling you, come on, what do they say? Make an honest woman out of her. Make an honest man out of him. You know what I mean? It feels like the group is saying, look, make your decision. Make your decision about whether this is 10 Pentacles or not. Tell me about the 10, or whether this is 10 of Cups or not. 10 Pentacles is here. Tell me about the 10 of Pentacles. We've got the 9 of Wands. We've got the 4 of Cups. Yeah. Is it that you want it or that you're just comfortable here? You're not really sure. Ace of Swords is in the reverse. So the 9 of Wands is here. I'm looking at this particular 9 of Wands because you can see that there is ivy growing around this wand. That means this person is been sitting here a really long time trying to make a decision about whether this has all been worth it or not. Because ivy grows on things that have been standing for hundreds and hundreds of years, like castles, right? So it feels like there's a castle in the background. It feels like there has been some sort of a foundation that has been built here. And it feels like you've been sitting here for a really long time trying to make a decision about whether it's worth your effort or energy, because this person is looking at the 9 of Wands. They're looking at the ace here, right? So is it worth putting any more energy into? It feels like you are very comfortable here. We could be talking about a job or a relationship. It feels like you're very comfortable here, but you haven't quite come to the decision about whether there's something out there that's better than this. That's what it feels like. It almost feels like FOMO. It feels like fear of missing out. Is this something that I want deeply? Is it a nice to have or a need to have is what it's giving me here. Tell me about the 8 of Cups. We have the 9 of Pentacles, we have the 10 of Swords, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. It almost feels as though if you say yes, and immediately you lose your autonomy. It feels like, the Queen of Pentacles is someone who is independent, right? Independent. I'm independently working on my health, my time, my effort, my energy. Maybe I own property. Maybe I bought my own house. It feels like somebody is doing well at supporting themselves and being, very independent with their wealth, their health. The 9 of Pentacles is here. I've got a good reputation. Really, I've grown a business, or I've grown to, take care of the outside, take care of the inside. I'm very confident in what I do. 10 of Swords is here. Should I just let this go and leave it at that? 8 of Cups, because I don't think I am getting what I need emotionally. I'm getting what I need in terms of practicality. I would say partnership. It's very practical. It's like I ask you a question, you give me an answer. Well, that was very helpful in my decision-making process. It seems more practical than it does seem emotionally satisfying. Why do you feel like you're running out of time here, Cancer? It feels like you feel somebody might be pushing you to an answer, or you just feel like time's running out. We've got the 10 of Cups. We've got the King of Wands. We've got the Hanged Man. So I feel like you're in this perspective where you're trying to find an answer but now everything's in a pause. You've stopped pursuing the Ten of Cups. So to me, the Ten of Cups is ultimate joy. It's the apex of happiness. It's everything that you want. It feels as though with the Ten of Cups being here and the Ten of Cups being over here too, 8 and 2, but the 2 is in the reverse. So you're wondering, should I walk away from the 8 because it's not necessarily emotionally satisfying? It feels like settling. I might be settling. It feels like you feel that you have to make a trade-off. It could be very stable. It could be that we get along great practically. But it feels like, is that enough? Ten of Swords is here. Should I just release this? Because what if it's not enough? And then cheating becomes a part of it. What if what if I don't have enough emotions to give? Or what if they don't have enough emotions to give to me? So I think that the Hanged Man energy is here saying, I'm hanging here trying to look at it from a different perspective and figure out what I want to do. So I've stopped pursuing the Ten of Cups, but I still feel like somebody's expecting an answer. Or King of Wands, somebody could be impatient. Somebody could be asking you to make a decision about whether you're going to put a ring on it, whether this is going to be a long-term, happy family kind of dynamic. So it feels like your ability to pursue is on pause right now. Tell me why the Two of Cups is in the reverse. Hang on. We've got the Six of Swords. See, I feel like right now you're in a position where you could just detach and go, and it really wouldn't break your heart. It feels like I haven't really bonded to the situation or the idea of it or the person or the job. It's not something that I'm deeply bonded to. Like it's a shallow. We're in the shallow end right now. We haven't dove into the deep end yet, and it feels like I could easily just detach and move forward here. The King of Pentacles is here. And then we have the Five of Cups, but we get along so great. Am I making the wrong decision? It feels like somebody thinks that they have to make a decision between loveship and companionship, because the King and the Queen of Pentacles are on the same page, financially, practically. They're very good companions. They mirror each other. They build kingdoms together. They build material wealth together. But the Five of Cups is here. Is that going to be good enough for me, though? It feels like you really need the emotional part of it as well to be on point. But with the Six of Swords up against the Two of Cups in the reverse, tells me right now you're swimming in the shallow end. Like you haven't yet dove in deep in here, and you're like, I'm at the place right now where I could just probably disconnect and be done with it, walk away. Eight of Cups. Because if it goes any deeper than this, I'm not going to be able to wiggle my way out of this. Tell me why the Three of Cups is here. We've got the Wheel. We've got the Nine of Cups, yeah, and then the Ace of Wands. Because if it goes any deeper than this, then it's on. Then I'm going. It's on. Because the wheel has rolled up here now. So I feel like that when your heart space begins to expand, that you're going to be in. But I think that you're also quite a loyal sign as well. Whether that comes up in the Sun, Moon, or Rising, Venus or Jupiter. It feels like if it's Jupiter, I feel like it's more of an expansion of the heart space. And so I think that if your feelings expand here, if everything expands into the Nine of Cups, then it would be a go for you. It would be like an easy decision for you to make. But I don't think that's where you are right now. I think that everything financially is on point. You're probably dealing with a very successful potential, right? A very successful, materially wealthy, good person who takes care of their body, takes care of their health, wealth, their mind. It feels like that person has got all of that on point, but what about this? So I think what you're reconsidering is whether or not this is somebody that you want to commit to. Because although their financial worth is on point and you could build a great big financial palace, if you don't have emotions, then what do you have? So does it deserve the chance or not is what we're going to be talking about in the extended. If you would like to come into the extended, then please do that. Please look at the pinned comment. And in the pinned comment, you will see that there is a link to the membership area as well as Hypsee for a private reading. I'm going to put down 3 more cards. We're going to take these cards into the extended with us. I feel like you've waited long enough. It's time to make a decision about how you feel about the situation. The Magician is here saying the ball is in your court. You have all the resources. You're the one with all the tools. You can make the decision based on whatever tool you decide to use. Feels like something here continues to build or grow. And I feel like you're sort of wondering, is this the place where I settle? Seven of Pentacles is waiting, but it's also, waiting for something to ripen on the vine. But how long will I spend here? Seven of Wands tells me you want to stand up and take charge of the situation, but also you're very protective of the things that I feel that you're non-negotiable on. It feels like you're wondering, if I'm all the way in, I will be vulnerable. If I'm not all the way in, then there's no point of me even opening this box in front of anybody. So if you're interested in the membership area, please check the membership link. It is there. That's where all the extendeds go. If you're interested in a private read, there's a sale on right now. It is 10% off my pre-recorded reads. That sale only comes around every 3 or 4 months. So if you want to check on my prices and packaging, the ones that are listed in Hypsee are the ones that you'd be looking at. Those are 10% off. Please take the code from the pinned comment. It's Celebration 2026. Just want to say to you, happy Canada Day to my Canadians, and happy 4th of July to those of you who just celebrated that. If you're interested in that, please go take a look over there. I also offer live readings. If you're interested in that, you do have to pre-book those as well. So for the people that are coming into the membership, if you are a member, then there is something a little bit more in terms of a sale waiting for you on the board there. So if you want to take a look at that, go ahead and do that. And happy Canada Day, happy celebration for the U.S., 4th of July. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back, Cancer. See you in the extended or not. I'll be back. Take care. Bye-bye.